episode of the Coach V Show here on Island City, where the beach meets the streets, where tonight we are going to be now featuring a German brother. Well, he was born in Germany, Ben Hilger, who is now residing in the 808, does business for LegalShield, but doing it in a way where he's still a stay-home father. We're bringing you all these life lessons right after this word from our sponsor. Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life, offering for your consideration life lessons, success frameworks, and behavioral models. Should you find value in them, that we suggest your consideration in deploying it all over your life, leadership, and business. And today I am highly excited to feature one of my brothers, Ben Hilger, coming in, who resides in the 808, where Ben was born in West Berlin, Germany. Now is residing in the Aloha State. His father was in the Army and spent most of his childhood between the East Coast and Europe. He has a younger brother, played soccer, football, and rugby growing up, graduated from the George Mason University, went into the U.S. Army for 6 years as in communications field and airborne paratrooper, went into corporate America in banking, telecommunications, and insurance sales. He is married with 2 kids, living in the Aloha State 808. I just came off a vacation in Maui. I miss you. And he is a father and a part-time entrepreneur with LegalShield. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Coach V Show. Your boy from the 808, Brother Ben Hilger. Brother Ben, welcome to the show, brother.
Aloha, aloha. You were here for a couple of days and you already look tan. That's not great.
Look,
Been here 10
look
years.
at this 808 glow right here, boy. I love, man, everything about the 808, right? I just didn't carry back just the tan, but my family and I just really bring back what I feel is empowerment. They call it aloha, and I love it because it sounds a lot more accepting to the United States of America versus anything I say in Tongan, which they don't understand, right? So, Brother Ben, welcome to the show. Please take us through your life, leadership, and business lessons, and let's just start with your genesis point, whether you want to start from the beginning in Germany to where it is that you are today, or if you want to just start with your professional life. Let's grow.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Coach. And first of all, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me. You could have any myriad of $1 million people here, and you chose me. So I'm very honored and humbled. Thank you so much for allowing me.
Our honor too, brother. Our honor as well.
Yeah, so I guess what I'll do is I'll start not at the very beginning, like, you know, in the beginning, God created. We won't go that far back.
Amen. I got you.
But yeah, I was actually born in West Berlin, Germany. And the reason why I say West Berlin is because back in 1971, yes, I know I look 30, but I'm 50. It was actually a divided city. So we still had this thing called the Cold War going on, which we don't have in Hawaii at all, as you know. So, but I grew up there. I only spent about 7 months there. And then we moved back. My dad got out of the military, tried some various jobs, and then Vietnam was going on, went back into the military. And so stayed in and made it a career for 24 years. So I say that to say that when, you know, as military brats were called, or military kids, you know, people say, well, where are you from? You know, hey, Coach Ben, where are you from? Pick a place. I could just put a dart pretty much between Europe and North America. I pretty much have lived there. So, but what I like to say is that my home was wherever my ohana was, my family.
Say that again, Brother Ben.
Yeah, you could put us in any country, any state, and it didn't matter if I had my brother, my younger brother, my mom, and my dad, that I just felt empowered that we could do anything. And it teaches you at a young age, Coach V, to be able to move like water. We've heard that phrase from Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, yes.
Yeah, to be adaptable, to be able to be a chameleon, to be able to play whatever role you need to play to fit in. And that's the reason why I want to start there, is because I never really got to find out who Ben was in that time, because I had to make friends. And I started to fall into that so-called circle of pleasing other people. I would make jokes, have fun, so that when you laughed, now I knew I was your friend, right? Not really knowing what value system was important to me. So as a kid growing up and as a military kid, I got to see the world, but I didn't have a sense of foundation for life, foundation for principles. Basically, my dad and my mom weren't training me to be self-sufficient. They weren't training me, they were surviving too. And so that kind of permeated through our household. I dove into sports, dove into, unfortunately dating ladies too and having a good time. But, so I got myself through high school and actually graduated in 4 years of college and was in a fraternity and played rugby. And so throughout my life, it was more of a hard lesson. I made a lot of mistakes, and I just want to thank God that they weren't like catastrophic. Could have gone different ways in different times, between little fender benders, car accidents, wrong place, wrong time. And then when I got out of college, I wanted to be a diplomat because I spoke pretty good German, sprichst du Deutsch, and I was okay with that. And I thought I could be a diplomat. And Bill Clinton was our president, so some of you weren't even born then. But that was 1993, and so there was a freeze on jobs, and I had bills. You know that thing? You got to pay the bills, right? So you need income coming in so it can go out. And I said, hey, let me try this military thing like my dad did. And my first day of basic training, Coach V, I almost quit. I almost quit because it was the mental game, but the drill sergeant said something so profound. And I believe that sometimes, for me, it's God. For you, it could be universe, whatever you believe in here, family. But the Lord puts things in your way. You just might not see them. And so he put these words in this drill sergeant's mouth after cussing us out. And if you don't know what that is, watch the first hour of Full Metal Jacket. I experienced. But he said, listen here, bleepity bleeps, you just survived your first day. And I want to thank God, Coach, because my ears were open. And I really took that to heart. I was like, okay, if that's the worst day, the first day, my body and my mind, I can train it. I can adapt to the push-ups, the sit-ups, the running, the mental game. And so day 2 was a little bit easier. The third day, a little bit easier than that. By the end of that first week, I was down 20 pounds. I kind of knew the system, right? So it's kind of like some of your coaching where you get thrown into the deep end of the ocean and you got to figure it out. Because for me, there was no quitting, because the visual was my dad going through this in the 60s, a lot worse than me, knowing he had to go to war. And what's my little sissy butt complaining about, in 1994 when I went through, right? So, that catches me up to the military part of it. I knew I wasn't going to make it a career, but I picked a profession in telecommunications, basically military cell phones. That's kind of what I did, Right. So, secure transmissions was good, but they said, hey, Ben, you can jump out of planes. And, Coach V, we've done various things. And so I'm a dolphin personality. I like to jump and think about it halfway down. My wife thinks about things so much, she never jumps. So we make a perfect couple, right? And so I fell in love with jumping out of planes. I actually really liked it. I never got used to it, but I want to thank the Lord above for opening the parachute 54 times, because I'm still here with you. I'm probably 2 inches shorter too, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And when telecommunications was heading up in the end of 99, 2000, is when I decided to leave the military. I had a pretty bad injury on my leg. It took me a year to walk again and then jump out of planes again. And then Verizon, which was Bell Atlantic, picked me up as a cellular phone tech to fix cellular phone sites. I know I looked like a salesman, but I actually was the nerd that fixed your phone to make sure it worked. And then I played the corporate game, sir, where, you know, time for money, right? How much are you going to pay me? Dictate how much I was focusing on that task at hand. I worked myself into a nice job in the banking and telecom industry and insurance, but they wanted a 6-figure time commitment. And you're a family man. And if I'm, you know, talking to other family men out there, listen, I know how hard it is to leave your family early in the morning to go put food on the table. And sometimes come back and they're already in bed and like, hey, you know, I don't know what else to do. That was my dad. That was my mom. That's what I thought I had to do. And I don't blame. I want to thank the Lord. I used to blame him for putting the burning desire that, hey, maybe I can have both. Maybe I can have the time and the income. If I can solve the income equation, coach, then I can buy back my time. I've never seen millionaires talk about their money. They talk about their vacations, talk about the trips. They talk about the moments in their lives, not the money and the people that they've helped. And so I went on a search for that, and I failed at my first attempt at network marketing. I didn't really fail. I did good, but I didn't duplicate. You know, if you buy a McDonald's, you buy everything, right? It duplicates. My mom had brain surgery and I had to go away for a month, and my check went away for a month. And I realized that I had to go back into the workforce. And so when we finally moved out here to Hawaii, my wife had already got her nursing degree, and I had a burning desire to be a full-time dad. I just didn't know what it was going to look like.
Right.
I was looking for jobs, and you already spent a week out here in Maui. So daycare was as much as the job was. And I'm like, well, why would I pay somebody to come to my home so I could go to work, to pay somebody to come to my home so I could go to work? I'm like, that don't make no sense.
Right.
I like to say I'm in the tool shed, but I'm not the sharpest tool. Okay. But that one makes, I was like, there's got to be something different. And I was open. I was open for change. And the older you get, sometimes it's harder to open unless there's a emotional, something happens in your life. And so with me, I found God again, and I humbled myself and surrendered myself. I was willing to be broken, sir, so I could be remade. And, you know, I like to say that I did really good from the giddy up, but I watched Sports Center all day because I didn't have to go to a job, but I had to pay my bills. And through faith and through, you know, just a lot of personal coaching and mentorship, which is, you know, your program and, of course, Brother Danny offer, it has made the difference where I've been able to buy back my life and live on purpose and be able to help light other people the same way. And living in paradise, I've been a full-time dad for over 10 years now, part-time entrepreneur, but the residuals and the stacking of the blessings are starting to come where I can tell my wife now she doesn't have to work.
What a blessing.
Yeah, so that's kind of gets you kind of caught up. I got a 13-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter, and you know, it's you got children too, and so the parents out there, I'll end with this until we go to the next part, is that one of the things I alluded to earlier is I didn't get an example from my dad. I didn't get an example of how to love a woman properly. For those, you know, he just passed away Monday, so but I'm so glad to be here. I believe there's a purpose behind everything, but he was a functioning alcoholic pretty much my teenage years until he passed away. And it has an effect on you. It does. It affects you. But I didn't get an example of how to honor a woman the right way, treat kids the right way, be a dad that teaches. All it was corporal punishment, smack. You know, maybe some of that happened in the islands too, right? But a lot of it. Yeah. And so when Leigh Ann decided to, you know, spend the rest of her life with me, which was shocking, she came from a talking standpoint. My wife's Japanese, and we talk to people, you know, we work it out. And I'm like, work it out? There ain't no such thing as working out. It's yell, spank. slipper, spoon, belt, hand,
Yeah.
whatever's in arm's reach.
Yeah.
And so I realized I was blaming my wife for my shortcomings, the deficiencies I saw in my life. And that's when I decided, I had to make a conscious decision. We got married in 2005. That fall, I was like, if I don't change my physical life, my emotional life, if I don't work on me, this woman's going to walk away, or I'm going to walk away, and I'm probably going to be just like my father. And he has good qualities, but I didn't want to end up in a hotel being found by room service or housekeeping on a Monday morning, So that's where it started. The conscious choice, Coach, a decision to break that stronghold and work from a legacy vision rather than me. And it's not easy, but it's well worth it, just as you've done for yourself too, sir. It's something that a lot of people don't wake up. Mr. Katoa said this first. He says, everybody lives to 75. Some of them die at 25. We just bury them at 75, right? They're dead. They're like, that's it. And even in paradise, brother, you'll see them, or even on the I-5 or whatever it is, Pacific Highway 1, going to work, and they just don't know anything different. And I don't judge that. I used to judge it, but I'm like, I'm okay with it. I'm just, there are people that are waking up, sir, especially in this pandemic, that have had some lights go off, like, hey, listen, I've got to be different. And so that's kind of gets people up. I failed along the way a lot, and I'm just here, still a work in motion, sir, but been having a lot of fun and bringing a lot of people with us.
Oh, that's phenomenal. So for those of you that are tuning in, welcome to the Coach V Show here on Island City, where the beach meets the streets, broadcast from Hollywood-Radio Studios, and here on your boy Viliami Tuivai's business Facebook page. And now you have seen, for those of you that have been along since the beginning of the show, why I invited Brother Ben Hilger, who has just a wealth of wisdom, as well as being highly effective in how he communicates, that I thought he would bring value not only to the audience, but to me as I'm taking notes here. And one of the main reasons why, coupled with your articulation and the ability to be intelligent, make common sense, and also really accomplish what you've accomplished, it was coupled with this ministry and faith undertone and overtone, but yet absolutely unapologetic about your faith. What's the genesis of that, Brother Ben?
Oh man, you got good questions. You've been doing this for a little bit.
It's all good. All you.
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. I'll give you the cliff notes. So when I was born in, my father was Roman Catholic, or was Roman Catholic now. My mother was Protestant, but I was baptized soon after I was born, I think, when we came back to Minnesota. But, moving every 2 to 3 years, we didn't really have a faith base. You didn't really find a church. The first time I remember was doing the Lord's Prayer. And then I remember doing a lot of kneeling and saying words in Latin. The guy yelling at us, old wood. And then I knew there was breakfast afterwards, right? My dad would take us to get a nice omelet or something. So he enticed me to go to church for that. Then it slowly devolved into C&E people, Christmas and Easter,
Yeah.
And then it kind of went away. But I realized that I started realizing that it can't be about me. That there's only so much we can do, and it can be Islam, Hindu, Confucius, Judaism, Christianity, or whatever you believe in. But we have to believe in a higher cause, a higher purpose, something besides us. Because I believe, if you've ever seen a child be born, you can't believe that it's science. That is a flaming miracle. And so I just tapped into that people get like gut feelings and stuff. Now, I know for me, it's from my Holy Spirit and from my guardian angel who's worked overtime on me. But, you know, for some people, like, they just feel like, oh, I just have a sixth sense. No, that's a connection. I'm going to go a little nerd here. There's a great documentary from Netflix called Fantastic Fungi, Fungi. It's Netflix, and it talks about mushrooms, not the kind that we often see from the 60s, although they are, but they talk about the mycelium network of mushrooms and how they communicate mirrors the human nervous system.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, so it's amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating without, and again, I haven't had any, you know, THC or CBD before.
Right.
But I believe we have, it's a conscious choice to believe in that we're all connected. We're all connected. We're here to serve. So the genesis of my faith came in from the second rebirth or reborning. I don't say I want to be born again. I've only been born once. That's fine. Bathed again or anointed again in his love was when I decided to work on me to come back to Christ. And I was almost like Job. I was kind of anti, and he put people in my life that had the patience and the wisdom not to argue with me, but to come alongside me and love me anyway, even if I wasn't going to church on Sunday or I wasn't tithing. And that gave me the example and the fatherly example to reignite my connection with God through Ecclesia, which is through Transform Our World Hawaii, through Pastor Ellie and Danny Katoa, and to realize that I am worthy. You know, a lot of the unworthiness came from not getting recognition from my dad. It just didn't happen, you know, and I'm overly now loving and connected to my kids and my wife, telling them every day how much I love them, how much they mean to me. And that I believe that we have a purpose. We each have a purpose and we each have an anointing. And some people will go on that journey to discover it and some won't. And, you know, that we're here more than just making money for some company. That there is a vision, there is a plan that we don't have to give up. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And in that, let's talk some life lessons, and let's start with a period of your time. I love sports, and I was a church goer and an attendee, not by choice, but because in our culture, everything, the center of our universe is church and everything that has to do with church.
Amen.
But what really transformed my life first, at least in the way that I was aware of it as a child and growing up, was sports. Man, you want to talk about level up. My first day in football pads, I got ran the heck over because I never played in football pads before, right? And that first 3 days of Hell Week was hell for me until I figured some things out. What are some life lessons from the sports that you've played, Ben, that you could, you know, me seeing double vision and going, man, if I actually stay lower than this guy and run at him with force, it doesn't hurt as much as just standing here and getting ran the heck over, right? Yeah. So what are some life lessons from you that you bring from your soccer, football, and rugby background, Brother Ben?
Yeah, I was laughing because it's so true. There's, you know, just give it a minute. You'll get knocked correctly or knocked out, you know?
Right, right, no doubt.
So soccer was one of my first loves because in Europe, they don't really play American football or baseball. And I think I played baseball once and the kid hit me right here and I charged him out with the bat.
That's a wrap. You're kicked out.
I'm out of this sport if this guy can beat me and I don't get to plump pummel him. So, I mean, I like watching baseball. I just never got into it after that. But so when I played soccer, I grew up. I was one of the kids that grew up early, kind of like, you know, girls kind of go before boys. So
yeah,
12 years old, I was already like 5'9", 5'10". I was already I hadn't grown my muscles yet, but I was taller. So when I played sports, most of the time in soccer, I was a defender. I was the last line of defense.
Right.
I was the guy that would take you out. That's just how it is. And I I think because of some of the verbal abuse I took from my dad and maybe some of the rage that I had inside, because I couldn't talk about it because my dad was an officer and had a secret clearance. You can't have loose lips or he'll lose his job, right? So it's kind of like smile when you leave the door. I took it out on the field. I really became a bit of an enforcer, and I just fell into the role because my personality is gregarious anyway and talking. So I just was kind of like generaling the defense no matter what. I'd be like, hey, this guy's over here doing this, watch that. And so in soccer, I could see the plays developing and I had no fear. I would go in, I would take anybody on. In a 20 to 30 yard sprint, I could keep up with anybody. After that, I'm going to get winded because I'm not a long distance runner. So, but through soccer, I learned how to when to put that in, like when to go, when to go, okay, right? Like I gotta step it up. So you get that awareness of the situation around you. I got really good situational awareness in soccer. Who's the best player on their team, right? Noticing things and using that to our advantage. When it came to football, same thing. At Berlin American High School, you had 400 people in 7th grade through 12th because it's a small school.
Right.
So 7th grade, I'm the starting center for the varsity team coach.
Oh, 7th grade?
Yeah, 150 pounds maybe, soaking wet. I'm the center.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there was no running plays up the middle. It just wasn't. I mean, the guy had a beard across from me, you know. So
yeah.
So, but I mean, coach said you can hike the ball. That's the position I have for you. And so I just learned the position. I learned how to hold, cut block because we could do it back then. I knew how to not stand up. You don't stand up. You know, like you said, you keep that low center of gravity. At least you'll give it 3 to 4 seconds for the quarterback to roll out because there was no pocket passing with me as center. Roll out to one side, pick it, let me know. But I also played defense and I played offense. So when you're on defense, if you've played, so people have telltale signs, the stress on their knuckles, the leaning on, you know where the play is going.
Yeah.
So those sports things I took into life to give me that 1%, like looking for that 1% difference, that 1% edge that I can make that system quicker. I can bring value this way, or I notice this and have a solution rather than whining about the problem. So you can be a victim or you can be victorious. It's not and. You just got to choose. Either everything's someone else's fault, or you take personal responsibility. And through sports taught me that if I want to play varsity, I got to take personal responsibility and do what I got to do to be the best, to be the number one guy. Because the number 2 guy plays JV, right? Right. And I wanted that letter. I wanted that letter on my jacket, right? You know, so at 7th, 8th grade, I was the starting center, and then I was JV linebacker because we had a pretty big team on defense. But you know, I would fill in on defense every once in a while and be able to get a play here and there because I knew what the offense was doing. You know, I could tell by the configurations and stuff. So. And then when I got to rugby, so the reason why I laughed is, you know, growing up, I had a face mask. Right. In rugby, there's no face mask, bro.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So you're talking about your first day. So first practice, I'm like, it's basically smear the queer without snow. I'm like, what's going on? And this Brazilian dude just clocked me right on my chin with his knee. Blood comes gushing. And I had blonde hair back then. And he goes, little Sven, you're not going to do that again, are you? You know, I had to realize, I had to unlearn the football mentality because rugby is, you know, a different mentality, right? Like you can't go in with your head or it'll pretty much be dislocated from your body. So that took me to another level of working inside a pack, a team. That was much more fast paced than football too. Yeah. So sports really gave me also a sense of teamwork. You know, you can win together, right? Like there's so much you can do alone. Like I played lone sports like racquetball, bowling. I've done those sports too, where I'm okay at. But I like team sports because I want others to get better, and I want to win as a team. I like it when we all can win together and celebrate. Yeah, so team sports are a lot of fun. Yeah.
Very good. What about what would be your life lessons about this, that success and losing, being a champion or failing to be the champion, they are not different paths. They're all the same path. Do you have a message, or do you agree with that?
I I agree. Yeah, it's funny you asked that question because I just came from physical therapy for my ankle, and
Right.
we were talking about the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost money on this the first time. I didn't know they went 4 years in a row.
In a row. And
Bro, a row.
and
Like
yes, in a row. Historic.
Tom Brady never did that. Not
Yeah.
4 years in a row. Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
There's not one team that I saw since AFC, NFC play together, right? That have
Yep.
gone 4 years in a row.
In a row.
I'm like, that, I mean, you play ball, goodness gracious, to get reset the next year. So yeah, I believe that there cannot be any testimonial without a test. So you've got to go through it. Like some people believe, well, I want to avoid this because I want success. No, you can believe in the universe, God, Buddha. I don't care who it is. You can believe in a towel. I don't care what you believe in. But whatever you want is on the other side of the obstacle in front of you. Everything you want is outside of what you already know today. Because what you know today is on your limited beliefs. So if you're not reading books, oh man, I took my book upstairs, but I usually have my personal development book close at hand.
Yeah.
But if we're not continuing to read and listen and stay and grow, then we're dying. There's no pause. You know, the earth doesn't pause. It either goes forward, it goes forward.
Yeah.
So when you stop, you actually aren't stopped. You're actually going backwards. You're dying more. So, my thing is that I believe success, and I'm not talking just financial success, coach. I'm talking about relationship.
Yes, sir.
Purpose is through that test. Money, man, I used to worship money. I used to put it on a pedestal. And when you do that, you're chasing along, you get tired. But when you work on yourself to attract or be the person you want to be, then God or the universe finds a way to bless your bank account for that. For you to live your full purpose. So Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, yes, their parents might have been overzealous, but there came a time where they actually loved what they do, or they love it. There's a commercial, Tiger Woods, hits 2,000 golf balls before 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So practice makes permanent, I'll take someone with a burning desire over talent any day. Yeah. So I believe in that phrase. It's you got to go through it. That's the only way you grow. It's the only way you grow. Listen, hopefully you here listening, you know how to bathe, go potty, and you're walking. So your family took you through it. You learned those things.
That's right.
As a parent, I know that because I did with my kids. So
yeah, that's right.
So we're built with our feet to go forward and fail forward.
That's right.
And get better.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, I used to, and then at Davis, where I've been a part of just a historically impactful program where at the Division II level, UC Davis won 30 plus years straight, a conference championship, right? This is an old conference. And then they became, they were very similar to Notre Dame. I forget the term offhand, independent, I think it was. And then they're now 1AA, and they would always say, and the coaches, you never remember the wins and the losses. You just remember the relationships. But I didn't believe in that because I took the losing so hard, especially when you're a part of a good program. I understood that losing is part of the game and part of the process, and you really figure out who you are in terms of adversity, struggle, self-embarrassment from the haters. And losing, right? You really figure that out. But man, I took it hard because at good programs, you lose in big games only, right? Like all these teams, it's like the Final Four is going on right now and all that. And those guys, it's like, there's only one team, but when you're an elite team, you can be upset at any time. And then when you do lose, when you make it to the Final Four, Man, it's crushing. So in my college career, I lost in 2 national semifinals in a row, and so though I do agree with the premise, I do know that I remember every win and every loss, but I also remember the experiences and the people that were with me. In that, let's talk about something that I'm really big on, and I'm sure you are as well, is, the number one choice that I talk to the high school students and college students is your choice in spouse over career, over your major, what school you go to, all of those things. I think all of those things are vital and important. Yeah. But I'm like, man, who you choose as a spouse that's the biggest life leadership and business contract in your life. Talk about that, Ben. And you talked about, you're married to a nurse. I'm married to a nurse. Your oldest is 13. My oldest is 13. My youngest is 10. Your youngest is 10.
What?
Right? Yeah. You didn't know that, but I did my research on you and all that, but in that, right? I mean, my wife, and so my parents were that prior to me being adult, was everything to me. Yeah. But then when I met my wife, my world changed, and people can tell, obviously, and she's had a huge impact on who I am, and I make sure she knows that, and I honor her in that way. Your thoughts about the decision a person chooses as a spouse, Brother Ben?
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I'm learning a lot about you too. At what age how old were you when you guys got married?
So it was in 2007. I'm so old now, I can't even count backwards. I mean, in 94, you were in basic training. I was a senior, and then Martha was a freshman.
When were you born? You got married in 07.
Yep. So we got married in 07. I was born in Tonga, and then my wife was born here.
What year? Did you have
75, and she's 80.
25, 35. Man, you were okay. You were 32.
Yeah, okay, so we're right in our I was 32 and my wife was like 29, 28. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I was 34 when I got married.
Yep.
34, 35, because it was 05, a couple years on. Yeah, I was born in 71. So yeah, so it's funny you're messing me up a little bit, because it is now looking back. I'm coming up on 17 years of being married.
Yeah.
It's funny. I grew up in Berlin, so I went back to Berlin for my 7th, 8th, 9th year, and Leigh Ann was there. That's my wife's name. I met her there.
Okay, yeah.
We met each other when we were 12, 13. She's happy.
In Germany?
Yeah, in Germany, in Berlin.
And now you're raising a family in Hawaii.
Yeah, both of our dads were stationed there at the same time. That's how we met. And but we like different people. We were in the same crowd because we both played soccer. It's a small school, so that's where we found out about each other. And then when I got out of the military is when we got reconnected. So I got out of the military in middle of '99. I think 2000. Right around 2000, yeah, 2000, mid 2000 is when we started talking. We got reconnected through high school alumni, because Facebook wasn't really hot.
Right. 2000, MySpace wasn't even around. I don't think.
Yeah. So I went on like highschoolalumni.com, filled out a profile. Hilger is not like Smith. So one of our mutual friends, I was living in Charlotte, found us, and we just, I was just happy to be reconnected to people I knew from Berlin, because back then it was letters, and those military addresses only worked for another 2 to 3 years when you're 11, and then they're gone, So I got reconnected in Leigh Ann. I would email, and then she called me, and then we would email and talk from Charlotte. It became more and more, just more email calling. There wasn't any video back then, right? So it was just, she would send pictures, care packages. I would send some care packages to her. And I realized, I was like, dude, I might actually like this chick, like her.
Yeah.
And I think when I moved out to Albuquerque, I'd never lived out west as an adult. She came to visit me because we just, I've always known I was going to have a wife that had dark hair and dark eyes, because I just love it. And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
throw an accent, like you throw that Spanish accent, brother, you're in Cali. My night was low. I was blonde hair, blue eyes, so the girls loved it. I was
Yeah.
like, you need to come visit like now.
Yeah.
It's like I got no defense. I'm like, oh, this is too easy. Anyway,
Yeah.
so she came to visit, and we realized it was something serious. But it is a huge choice. Here's what I knew about myself, even through my stupidity.
Mm.
I did not want to be married in my 20s. I couldn't take care of myself.
Mm.
And I had such a
Say that again for the 20-year-olds who think they should get married here pretty soon.
I couldn't
Because
take care of
the struggle
myself.
is right. Because at 20, the struggle is real being single. But just let me and Ben remind all you 20-year-olds, we got some struggle waiting for your ass on this side, on the marriage side, because it's real. Come on, Ben.
Amen. Yeah. So because of I used, and this wasn't even, I knew God was behind it now, but back then I did. I used my parents' drinking and smoking and lack of connection as a reason to move my butt out, get my okole out of that house, right? And so I think I went back for 4 months in the summer after I graduated because the place we were renting, me and my best friend, wasn't ready. But that was it. After that, I had popped smoke. I wasn't coming back. So I was trying to figure me out. And, now I'm not celibate. So I was dating, I was dating, having a good time. But that's all I was looking for.
Right.
I was looking for Mrs. Right now, not Mrs. Right. So
real talk.
You make a choice like, well, I'm not like, Barry White or something like that. But some girls were like upset that I didn't ask him to marry me. I'm like, hey, listen, I told you up front, so I was very transparent. So I wasn't looking when Leigh Ann came into my life. I actually had thrown my own 30th birthday party. I figured life's over, never going to get married. We're just going to be a single dude, and I'm okay with it. I didn't give up, but I stopped wanting it. Like I stopped seeking, chasing. And that's when God had a surprise for me and the end of my life. And so I think the distance, she was in Hawaii, I was on the East Coast, and then Albuquerque was huge, because we're family here. So I'd go straight to physical contact quick, right?
Right.
And then I wouldn't wait around for the mental or the other connection. They call it, there's the physical love, and then there's the filial love, or the connection love, like the spirit. I didn't care about the spirit, So, but with this one, we had to talk and email for a year and a half. So I got to know her heart and her head before we ever figured out if our physical parts fit, right? Like if that was going to be good. So I was already wanting and knowing that this person intellectually and heart-wise was stimulating me before physical contact. And so when he came to visit, I was like, oh man, I'm in trouble. And so the rest is we dated. I asked, and here's the other part. I'm old-fashioned. I needed her dad's permission. And
how did that go? I did the same thing. How did that go? Did you have to fly anywhere to see them, or how did that work out?
Well, I mean, again, it's God ordained, but he was still working, and he had a conference that he had to fly into Albuquerque and drive down to the city. So I volunteered to pick him up.
From where? Where was he staying?
He was in Hawaii, but he had a conference.
But he came to your city for a conference.
He had a business.
Yeah, a conference in your city in Albuquerque.
Well, it was about an hour south in Berlin, but pretty much Albuquerque is the only known thing on the map.
Yeah.
But so when he flew in, I offered to take him down there just for him to get to know me. I didn't ask him right then.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, I wanted to get him to get to know me, because all he saw was the bratty little blonde-haired kid in Berlin.
The Howley brother, the big old Howley brother, right?
But because her parents had been out of Hawaii, right, grown up, went to school at UW in Washington, been in the military. I think he wasn't looking at me as a Caucasian. He was trying to figure me out with my heart in my head, if I was going to be okay for his daughter. So then when it was kind of serious, we were coming back for his birthday, and that's big in the Japanese culture, his 60th birthday. So I didn't want to interfere and ask her in Hawaii. So I said, hey, I need to talk to your dad. When's a good time to call him? She goes, what are you calling him about? and I had to make something up. Now, listen, I'm not good at lying anymore. Okay. Like back in the day, I was a hustler, but now I just don't lie anymore, coach, because I get confused.
Yeah,
so
real
like,
talk.
I had to keep the lie. I was like, well, there's something about his party. I want to make sure he likes this type of shirt. Total BS. I'm pretty sure my wife talked through it, but I kept trying to catch him because he got up at 5 a.m. in Hawaii. I'm already at work, and I'm trying to sneak out of work and dial his number, and he's not picking up. And brother, I was sweating it because I could not ask her. I would not ask her without permission from her dad.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to wait till after the trip. And I think 2 days before, he goes, hello. And man, I was nervous as all get out, bro. I was so nervous.
Right.
And I said, sir, I've been trying to reach you. I'm so sorry. I know you're on your way to work or you're at work already, but I love your daughter. And I think you know that. And it would be my honor to spend the rest of my life with her. What are your thoughts on that? And he said, without even missing a beat, he goes, Ben, it would be an honor to have you as a son, man. I still get bricked up thinking about it, you know?
Yeah.
And he said, we'd be proud to have you as part of the family. You have my blessing. And I was like, oh man, thank you. And
that's awesome.
you know, when you feel it here,
yeah,
you know it's real.
Yeah.
And, you've been married. It's not all glitter and rainbows every day. And but this is who God put in my life. And man, we're such a perfect complement, brother. But to all the young bucks, wait. I do believe that spouse is the most important choice. However, don't feel the pressure because of cultural things.
Yeah.
That you can find Mrs. Right when you're 21, still trying to figure you out.
Yeah.
Because you're bringing somebody into your life. And if you're broken or you're not whole and happy in who you are, how dare you ruin another life? By bringing somebody in because of your mama says this or your grandma says that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's over.
Yeah.
Man, so I mean, my wife and I were just down the street from each other. She was at Sac State. I was at UC Davis. But I'm only assuming you and Leigh Ann did what Martha and I used to do and like fall asleep on the phone. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, honey, you hang up.
Well, I couldn't do that. Well, with the time difference, I really couldn't do that because she was 6 hours behind. Like,
yeah.
You know, but yeah, I tried to eke out to after dinner time, her time, which was midnight. But man, it'd make work hard. But yeah, we would.
Oh man, yeah, no doubt. People dating these days have no idea the real struggle. When we got that phone extension at our house in Pomona, where you could take the phone from one room to another, that stuff was like life-changing, right? Who has the phone? Bring the phone back over here. Before that's like, oh, this person's calling you. No, I don't want to talk to them right now. I can't talk about what we're about to talk about in front of everybody.
We didn't even have caller ID.
Oh, like, yeah, remember that? Really oh my gosh.
Which chickie is this calling me? That was me back in the day, you know. I didn't have caller ID.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Brother Ben, and thank you to everybody who's tuning in. We've gotten to the segment of the show where we're going to put Brother Ben and give him an opportunity to do three things, right? One, like what's Ben Hilger's message to the world? Two, what are his current projects and what are the things it is that he'd like to promote that the world needs to know here on the Coach V Show, on the podcast, the Coach V podcast, and broadcast on Coach V Facebook Live. And then lastly is his shout outs. Brother Ben Hilger, what is your message to the world?
Wow, that's a good one. I would just say, forgive yourself. I think I think a big thing is that we are hard on ourselves.
Yes, sir.
We can be very hard on ourselves because of the way we're raised in the school system, or the way our parents are taught us, is that forgive yourself because we need your light. Your light from the inside. We need you. You're put on this earth as a being. And if you believe in connection at all, we all have a gift to give. We have an anointing and we have a gift to give. So forgive yourself. Give yourself self-forgiveness and self-love. If you can change the talk inside your head and your heart where 70% of it is negative all day, and at least get it 50-50 or win that battle, then you have accomplished a lot. All right, because we need you, and we need your voice. We need your voice. We need your purpose. Stand up. Okay, that's my big message. That I would say that if anybody can start at any age, is that you're worthy. Forgive yourself, and go out there and find a way to make the world a better place.
Amen and amen.
Yep.
I'm in on that. Coach V is in on that. I am in on that. Let's go. Number 2 now is how do we get a hold of you? What are your current projects? What industry are you in, and what do you provide that the world needs to know about?
Yeah, so I can put my number. I don't know if am I allowed to say my number. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can say it. It's your show. I'm just a co-host here. Yeah.
Yeah, I work. So my purpose in life is to bring value. I like thank yous from people. I like when people say thank you, like when I wore the uniform for the country. I never got it at US Bank or Verizon.
Right.
It was overcharged or how many fees. So I use a mechanism. One of my mechanisms that I use is LegalShield, LegalShield and ID Shield. So we're in the legal services and cybersecurity space for individuals, families, and business owners. So I can customize plans where they can't get it anywhere else, and provide a value-added need without hitting people hard in the pocketbook, and get a thank you. And so that's a catalyst that I use to make a difference in people's lives. And, I can be reached at area code 808-421-7672. That's my cell number, or Hilger, BHILGER @gmail. That's probably the easiest ways to get a hold of me. And I don't have a territory, so I'm able to do this business. Why I like what I do is I'm able to do it around my family. I don't have to fit my life around someone else's job. And that's not job bashing. My wife is still a nurse. And so I just resonate with the mission. Our mission is to protect and empower people. That's it. Protect and empower people. And so I just believe in that. I believe that if you can bring value to someone else's life, how dare you not do it? I'm willing to take the no so that I can grow. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. So LegalShield and Hilger, B as in boy, HILGER @gmail.com. Social media handles, LinkedIn, Facebook. Are you on there?
I am, but I haven't memorized them. I'm so.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Just send it to me and
we'll
put it in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just email me if you want to have this as we could post it on there and put it in the comment description with your bio. That'd be easy for us to do. It'd be our pleasure. Let's go shout outs, Brother Ben. Who you shout out, bro? Who the Ohana and everybody you like shout out?
I mean, my first, because of my recent loss, I do want to thank my parents. I want to shout out to my parents. They're both in heaven now looking down. There's no more pain. There's no more anguish, but I want to shout out them for putting a shield around me, because the way that they grew up, the way that they, grew up in the 50s and the 60s was hard. I mean, there was a lot of things we're dealing with in today's societies because there's a spotlight on it. There's a spotlight, there's recognition on things that have been going on, generational curses, abuse, physical, mental, things like that have been passed down. And so I want to thank my parents for doing as best as they could with what they had.
Right on.
As best as they could with what they had. That's my first shout out. And then, of course, to my lovely wife for, her patience with this coconut right here, for her to possibly see the light before I even saw the light in myself. And to have the patience with me and the love, and to understand that there's more to me than what I was bringing to the table, and that, hopefully I can honor her and make our lives and really set up our lives and our legacy to be better than what we have today. Not that it's bad, we're doing very well, but, and then of course my kids are my hearts walking around outside. Boy, they test me every day, but there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. And then my brother Danny Katoa.
Shout out Danny Katoa, my man, who also was here on the Coach V show. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from South Tonga. I'm from North Tonga. So the missing
Yes,
tribe that
sir.
went to Norway. Y'all took the boat, kept going till there was snow. I'm from that tribe. No,
Yeah.
but I want to thank Brother Danny because we came from total. I mean, you can't be more opposites in culture and being raised, and yet we found a way to find God, love each other as brothers, and work on one mission, one band, one sound. And there's my best friend John Howland. He's in Maryland. I'll try to tag him on this. Brother Michael Wynn from the fraternity. Some guys I served in the military with. Kevin Martin. These are just some people I can remember off the top of my head, Coach, that have definitely helped me and or supported me, even through my my stubbornness, even through being such a butthead, so to speak, rather than using the words I want to use. They still loved me, even though I treated them like garbage in the beginning, So those people are pretty special to me. And then, your program has had an effect on me since last fall. When we first met, I didn't know how it was going to go, brother. And, we talked it out, but, I know that you're in my life for a reason too. And I want to thank Brother Danny for that. But, shout out to you too, Coach, for standing up and bringing all this together and not just sitting on it saying, ha ha, I know all this, but giving it and sharing it with the world, Coach. That means a lot. And, you and I will probably never know the effect we have on people because it's going to be legacy, right? But I'm proud to be here somewhat at the beginning, or maybe at the intermediate part, the second level of your journey into the next phase. And it's been a lot of fun already. I can't imagine what God's got in store for us, but I'm ready. I'm excited and I'm ready. I'm ready for the future, and I'm ready to let go of the chains of the past. And you should too.
Amen. Amen and amen. In that, for those of you that are just tuning in, we are featuring Brother Ben Hilger, who is just a dynamic individual. He does LegalShield and is a stay-home father, but he is very successful. He drives a team that is worldwide, along with Brother Katoa out in the 808, but has a worldwide footprint, as well as Sister Katoa, who will be coming on the show. Emmeline will be coming on the show in the future here, as I would love to feature another strong leader that is a Tongan woman and who is really doing her thing. So shout out to those guys. In that, we come to the segment of the show where we're going to put Brother Ben Hilger on the Coach V hot seat. I am going to just say a phrase or just give him a question, and he's going to tell us what he thinks about that phrase and or answer the question.
I thought you would forget about this.
Yeah. Here's the first quote, and we already alluded to it once on the show. Is like, everything you do tells me everything about you. What do you think about that quote, Brother Ben?
It's a walking encyclopedia. It's your walking autobiography that someone sees. Let your actions speak so loud that I don't hear you.
Yes, sir. I love that. And from the Empowerment to Success program that you're a part of, and you're going to be finishing up here, a notion that I've taken from Jim Rohn, and then I've added to it. For things to change, you must change. If you don't change, nothing changes. If you do change, everything changes, because you are the key. Your thoughts, Ben?
You are. The only X in the equation from math that I remember, that variable is you. And so if I take these glasses off, it looks different.
Yes,
if you
sir.
take a pair of sunglasses off, but everything can change in an instant if you want to change. We do not have roots, so we can move. If you don't like it, change it.
When I say 20, I love that. I love that. You don't like it, change it. Level up, progress, be your best self. When I say 21 days creates a habit, 42 days creates a life. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, that is when they put Albert Einstein's equations up there, they should put that equation for you, Coach, because if you want an equation of how to save your life or develop or change your life into it, like, you can't put new wine into an old wineskin. So
biblical.
21 days is a habit. Challenge yourself. Maybe one spoke. Faith, family, finances, pick one. Do a 21-day cleanse, or we're in Lent right now if you're Catholic, right? Do a
Mhm.
21-day focus, because 21 days will reprogram this computer, and 42 days will permanently change your legacy in your life.
Mhm.
And those two numbers are key, sir, in anything you do. So that's kind of like an outline or a framework of how you can make that change happen over time or quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Because consistency, we are what we repeatedly do. It is really the spark of all learning and performance is practice, repetition. Practice? We talk about practice.
Allen Iverson.
Yeah, and I love Alan because even though Alan is negatively connotated for that notion, but he practiced his butt off. That crossover isn't something that you're just born with. You got to practice that crossover.
Well, what's the
Uh,
one Danny Katoa said it the other day? Usain Bolt, I got paid 20 million to run 9 seconds every
that's
4
right.
years.
That's right. That's right. But it took
4
how
years,
many years, yeah, to get there.
9
You know,
seconds, a lot of practice.
yeah, a lot of practice. So thank you for that, Ben. Thank you for
Yeah.
you being you to the world. Thank you for the leadership style and approach that you bring to your team and the world. Thank you for being Ben Hilger, to your wife Leigh Ann, to your 2 kids, to your ministry there in the 808, to your team there in the 808 and abroad. And especially thank you for being you to me. So for all of you that has tuned into this episode of the Coach V Show, thank you so much for tuning in. Ben and I hope that you have gained a lot of value for this. And really, it is not just for the sake of your success that Ben and I do things like this and bring this into the world, but really for the sake of being your best. In doing so, you realize the best of your abilities and that everything that you pray, grind, and work for can be achieved. This is Al, your boy, Ben Hilger, and your boy, Billy Amitulivai lives, all about faith and family. Grateful for God's amazing grace. Until next time, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next Mountain Motivation Monday right here on the Coach V Show, powered by Island City, broadcast from Hollywood-Radio Studios, where iron sharpens iron. Together, we rise. From your boy, Ben, your boy, V. Until next time, peace.
Aloha.